you guys? Welcome back to Lily Reads. In today's video, we are going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag. I need to grab my phone so I got the questions. So this tag was created years ago by booktubers by the name of Ellie and Chammy. And basically, this is just a moment for us to talk about our book reading for the first half of the year. Because at the end of the year, you talk about all the books that you've read like throughout the entire year. But when is there a moment to just talk about some of the books that you read? And that is this time. There are questions for this tag. I will answer them. Let's start by me showing you all of the books that I have read. Actually, there's one book. Let me go get it. Okay, I'm back. These are all of the books I have read in 2024 thus far. We are missing a few books because they are library books, and I just don't feel like there's a need for me to go check out the library book just to show you guys them when other people could be reading them. So I didn't go do that. But these are all of the books. I have read 90 books in the first 6 months of the year. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not that proud of that. I have a goal to read 200 books this year. This is a goal that I've set with myself. And obviously, if I read just as much as I read the first 6 months, I'm not gonna reach it. I wanted this to be the most books that I've read in a year. And so I'm not close to that. I don't know what I haven't been reading a lot of audiobooks this year. I think in years prior, I would pick up audiobooks more, and I really don't unless I'm doing something. For example, I like to listen to audiobooks in the morning while I'm doing my morning routine or my nighttime routine while I'm cooking, but rarely do I just sit and listen to an audiobook these days, and I think that's kind of messed up my reading count because I haven't been picking up audiobooks. I've been reading physically more this year, which, by the way, at the end of the year, really in 2025, I'm going to tell you a goal for myself in 2025 that is so ambitious, but I'm going to do it. But we'll talk about that in 6 more months. So this is all of the books that I read. These are the books that I read in January, February, March, April, May, June. I don't know why I messed that up. And then this stack over here is books that I plan on getting rid of. And they fit somewhere in these months. I just don't feel like figuring it out. We also have the Lily Reads book club picks, and I forgot to go get those. So let me go do that really quick. We have the Lily Reads book club picks that I will just sit back here for the time being, and that is all of the books that I have read this year so far. But let's get into the questions. I don't want to be here all day. Next, best book you've read so far in 2024. Now, I did not go through and take out any books for this question. I don't even know what the questions are. It is so dark in here. It is so dark and unserious in here, and I am so sorry. This is going to be so chaotic, but we're here for the fun. So I'm just going to go through each month and tell you my favorite book of the month. So in January, my favorite book would be Stillhouse Lake. So we have Stillhouse Lake that I really enjoyed. We have Thin Girls, which I really, really enjoyed. And we have, last but not least, we have All the Women in My Brain, which I enjoyed. And then if you can see down here, we have, let me pull it out. This is going to be a mess. If you look down here, let's keep going. It's just crazy that I've read all of these books. I'm looking back and it's oh my gosh. They just start to collect month after month. If I Had Your Face. So in January, those are my favorite books. I'm not going to tell you guys my favorite book, even though I feel like if you watch my channel, you know what my favorite book of the year is. But I'm not going to tell you because then what are the end of the year superlatives for? We're already losing books and I'm not even all that. I don't even care anymore. Anyways, in February, my favorite 2 books would be Full Disclosure and Not So Pure and Simple. None of the Lily Reads book club picks were faves. This wasn't even this year. None of these were faves. This book is just sitting here. How to Say Babylon, one of my favorite books of the year. I really enjoyed White Coat Diaries. I really enjoyed The Lies I Tell, probably my favorite thriller thus far this year. You guys know I like The Catch. Homegoing was enjoyable. Black Girl Unlimited was enjoyable. Jamila Green was enjoyable. So we got some winners there. A lot of winners in February. I'm already making a mess. Let's move on to over here. We have over here just one book I want to show you too. We have The Marriage Portrait, which I adored. You guys know that. And then also we have Radio Silence, which I really enjoyed surprisingly. Is there anything else I deeply want to pull out and show you guys? Sure. We have A Little Devil in America. I really enjoyed as well. And that's that on that. Those would be some of my favorite books of the year so far. Which, let's go into the next thing. How do I feel about my reading year? Fine. I pick up a book expecting to enjoy it. I think I am kind of out of that phase in reading where like I deeply dislike a lot of books that I pick up. I have been trying to clean off my bookshelf and also trying to read new purchases. And I think I've gotten done with the books that were kind of like questionable that I bought at a time. So I'm kind of just left with books that like are really my taste. So I'm actually kind of shocked when I don't give a book at least 3 stars. It is shocking to me, which is so crazy because 2 years ago, like when I started this channel, we used to get dud after dud, but I just think I was just trying to pick up books that were popular and not to my taste, but that's not really what I do these days. I am not the channel to watch if you want to watch somebody read the romantasy that's popping, the romance that's popping, the sci-fi that's popping, the contemporary, the literary fiction that's popping. I'm not the popping type of reader. I read to my taste, and this is my taste. So I really don't have anything bad. Next thing we have is best sequel you have read. Have I read sequels? Let me look and see, have I literally read any sequels this year? I did a whole vlog talking about sequels. You see how like my mind's going? I read a bunch of sequels, but they were all from the library, so I don't have them. So I'm going to have to put it up. The best sequel that I read this year would go to The Mystery Guest. This would be the best sequel, but not because it was just blow my mind, slap your mama good, because I haven't read that many sequels. I barely knew what was going on in Harrow the Ninth, so what was I going to do with that? Family Donovans is just kind of a chop of a series. Like, you know, it was fine, but like, it ain't nothing amazing. And so, yeah, this would be the best sequel that I read this year. I'm trying to see if anything else a sequel? Anything else a sequel? Nothing else is a sequel for me to discuss. That would be the best sequel. Next, new releases you haven't read yet, but want to. The Husbands. I really want to read The Husbands. I cannot wait to read The Husbands. It's just been sitting on my bookshelf out there, and I want to read it. The Husbands is a new release I want to read. Most anticipated releases for the second half of 2023. That is easy. Amari and the Night Brothers, the 3rd book in the series, I will put it up here, is coming out, and I cannot wait to read it. Another book that I cannot wait to read is, I think it's called It's Elementary, something like that, by Eliza Bryant. Another book I can't wait to read is Please Excuse My Frenchie by Farah Rashan. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Anything else? Leanne Morty is coming out with a book that I'm really excited to read. And I think so far, there's another book called Blue Sisters by the same author that wrote Cleopatra and Frankenstein, I believe. Cannot wait for that one. And so far, I think those are the books that like at the top of my mind I know are coming out. I feel like I'm missing something big. I'm missing something big And I don't know. There's some book club stuff I want to be in the book club that also, but please excuse my French, you already came out at this point, so why am I even including that? But yeah, I have a lot of pre-orders coming through, and that's what I can think of at the top of my head. Biggest disappointment. Biggest disappointment would have to go to, unfortunately, this is unfortunate, my biggest disappointment would have to go to the partner plot. I came into this expecting like a Vegas romance, you know, like getting hitched and all of that, and that's just not what this was. I kind of felt like this was phoned in. A lot of people have enjoyed this book, so I'm not going to say it's the worst book in the world, but it 100% was not for me. I did not think it was all that well done. So my biggest disappointment would have to go to The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest. Any other disappointments? Funny Story by Emily Henry started off good, but I felt like it kind of lost some steam. Anything else? The Night Circus. I thought I was going to enjoy The Night Circus more than I did. So that was a little bit disappointing for me. Other than that, everything, maybe Fire Rush by Jacqueline Crooks, because this book has I'm like not even showing it to you, but Fire Rush by Jacqueline Crooks has so much, you know, it has so much praise, critical praise. I was expecting to really enjoy it, but I didn't. Next thing we have, biggest surprise. One of my biggest surprises has to go to a book I haven't even talked to you guys about, because this is usually when I would talk about it in my June wrap-up, but this is kind of in place of the June wrap-up. My Heart is a Chainsaw. So I have honestly thought about unhauling this book. This was a book I was supposed to read with my sister. We were supposed to buddy read it, and we just never ended up doing that. And so I kind of lost interest in it. I know a lot of people who do not like this book. And then when I picked this book up, I had no clue it was a part of a trilogy. And so I really didn't have any interest in it. But I read it last month, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say it's like my favorite book ever, and it's definitely not my favorite book of the year, but we're still losing books. Anyways, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Any other surprise? I feel like I have more surprises. What's something that surprised, like really, truly surprised me? Definitely Stillhouse Lake. Oh, a huge surprise. I do not want to go down here and get it, but I am, for the sake of the video, I am going to do it. Wellness by Nathan Hill. This is still the longest book I've read this year. And I went into this book not thinking I was going to greatly enjoy this book. I didn't even think I was going to finish it. And then by the time I was done with this book, I had a really big appreciation for this book. So that's definitely my biggest surprise. Ooh, back to disappointments. Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True. Let me get it, because I gotta talk shit about this. This disappointment. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. There are people who swear by this book, and I don't think there is anything good about this book. I don't have anything nice to say about this book. So, Next thing we have is newest fictional crush. I am not someone who crushes on fictional characters. I'm not knocking people who do. That's just not my thing. But I will tell you some of my favorite characters that we have. First things first, I want to say that George M. Johnson, who is not fictional, I want to grab a drink with, because I just want to pick the brain of this man. So George M. Johnson is someone who I grew very fond of. Another person who is not fictional, Betty Gilpin, also want to have a drink with her because she seems really, really fascinating. I guess a hero or a love interest who I really enjoyed this year is his name Matthew or Michael? Miles. Miles, in full disclosure, really tugged on my heartstrings. Solid little boy. I really enjoyed him in this book. Anything else? Yes. And Jamila Green ruins everything. The imam in this book had quite a fun time with him. Anyway, so those are some of my favorite characters of the year, which the next thing was called newest favorite character. So I pretty much combined those and put those all together. Book that made you cry. I do not cry very often in books, but books that made me emotional, like I felt things that I usually don't feel. Full disclosure, 100%. How to Say Babylon. How to Say Babylon, 100% got me. Thin Girls, there's a quote that I constantly return to. The quotes that stick with me are never the quotes that like everyone like loves. There's a quote where she has a twin sister and she's comparing her and her twin sisters to the Twin Towers, and she's talking about both of their lives being fucked up, and she was like, of course our lives are bad. How can one tower fall and not the other? And I thought it like hit me. I don't know. I'm really big on like sisterly relationships, so that affected me in a way. Wellness as well. I'm not about to pick it up again. Wellness as well, you know, tugged on some heartstrings. The Heaven and Earth grocery store. The Heaven and Earth grocery store. Let me get it. I gotta show it. We are making a mess today, baby. Ah! I'm not letting that fall. I'm not letting that fall. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not today. The Heaven and Earth grocery store. There's a character named Dodo. I think his name was Dodo. Yeah, emotions. Emotions brought emotions to me. Anything else besides that, I don't think I had any real emotional pulls to it. Maybe Family Meal by Brian Washington down there, if you can see. Who knows? Who knows? Books that made you happy. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I like that. I like that. Books that have I been reading a lot of happy books? I don't think I've been reading a lot of happy books, but White Coat Diaries, this was a fun time. It really, really was. Other books that made me happy. Have I just not been reading happy books? What's up with that? I guess I haven't. I need to like read more like I think fun books. Can we discuss, as we're discussing the books, can we discuss how like romance is not here? Besides the Lily Reads book club, where's the romance? Oh my God. There is this is becoming chaotic, but what did you expect? You clicked on a Kenya video. We gotta go back to the question of what book made you cry? How could I forget Radio Silence? Radio Silence tugged at my heartstring in a way I was not expecting. In a way I don't think it tugs at other people's heartstrings. This book made me bizarrely emotional. I am so happy that I read this book at this age and not when I actually purchased this book or when I like obtained it, because like I don't know. I don't think I would have fully been able to appreciate this book if I was younger. And where I am now, like this book had a real big emotional pull on me. Anyways, back to books that made me happy. It wasn't that book. Did anything make me happy? I feel like saying Funny Story by Emily Henry would kind of be a cop-out. Books that made me happy. A Little Devil in America. This book made me really, really happy. This book made me happy to be a Black American. It really, really did. I don't need a book to make me feel happy to be a Black American. I am proud to be a Black American, but that book made me feel really, really good. Any books on the flow? No. Moving on. Favorite book to movie adaptation you've seen so far this year? Have I seen any book to movie adaptations this year? I haven't watched a lot of movies. So I definitely haven't watched any book to movie adaptations. Am I losing my mind? You see how someone can ask you a question, it's like you've never seen a movie. I go to the movie theater. Favorite thing that I made this year, like favorite video that I've made this year will probably, I'm gonna be so honest with you, probably my last vlog on Pride. That's probably my favorite one. Not because the books were that good. I just think I edited it very well, and like, I don't know, it came together. It was a last minute. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get to it, but I knew I wanted to get to it because I wanted to put something up for Pride, and I got it up, and I think it's edited well, and I think there's some good stuff in there, and I read some good books in there, and so like, yeah, probably that would be my favorite. And anyways, I think, is that it? Most beautiful book you bought this year? Hopefully, let me see if it's something up here, because I'm not gonna go find anything. Most beautiful book I bought this year. I like the cover to Funny Story. I like the cover to Shark Heart. Interesting. I don't know. Probably, when did I buy Under the Influence? Under the Influence has a really pretty cover. I don't know. I think I'm going to skip that one. Maybe Marriage Portrait. I do like the cover to Marriage Portrait, but nothing blowing my mind. I don't really buy books for their covers. That's like, yeah, so nothing blowing my mind. So that's all I got for you. What books do you really need to read by the end of the year? I need to read every single book that I purchased this year by the end of the year. I do eventually have a cutoff. I think the cutoff is like August. After August, I'll just move everything to 2025. But everything I purchased from August before, I need to read those. I also want to dip my toe into some series that are on my bookshelf that I like purchased all of them. So for example, I own the entire Percy Jackson series, have never read it. The Kennedy, L. Kennedy, The Score, The Mistake, The Deal, that series, I own it, haven't read any of it. The other Boleyn girl that hosts the Tudor series and all of that, own every single book in that series and the next series, have not read them. So I would like to start some of them, stop making it seem like such a big task. So I would like to do that. What's next? I think that's it. This is my mid-year freak out tag. So by the end of the year, if it's like the end of the year and I don't try to force myself. I'm not going to force myself to get to 200 books. I'm really not. Like, if I'm at like 195 and there's only like a week left, I'm not going to force myself to read 5 books. It's not that deep. Ooh, quickly. Books, least favorite books. This tag isn't nasty. My least favorite books of the year. Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True. The Accidental Pinup. Savvy Sheldon, Feels Good as Hell. A Low Country Bride. Redwood and Wildfire. Anita De Monte, Last. Out There Screaming. Permanent Record. Anything else I deeply hate? I deeply hate. Under the Influence probably should also be in my not likes, but I like the cover, so I'm keeping it. Oh, Yerba Buena. Oh, and the worst book I have read this year goes to The Single Dad's Club. This is single-handedly might be the worst book I've ever read. Cover is gorgeous. We read this for the Lily Reads Book Club, and it is easily the worst book I read this year. And that is it. That is all for the mid-year freakout tag. I will see you guys in the next one. I will link the creators of the tag in the description box, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.